And with that, the 2024 thrifting season comes to an end. So let's go through my favorite 2024 finds. It was hard to choose, guys, but here are the top 30-ish. I found 21 brass drawer pulls. All of them were 50 cents each and even have the embellishments. For $10.50, I got all 3 of these brass planters. I found a place for them immediately. I found maybe my favorite magazine rack yet. It was only $3 and I used them mostly for records, but for other things as well. Not a lot of holiday items made the list, but these 2 Joseph jackrabbits definitely made the list. I love them so much and use them at Easter. Not a lot of Goodwill stuff made it either, but this mid-century clock is right up my alley. It said it needed new works, but for $10, I took a chance and it works perfectly. This Fleetwood Mac 45 that was small with the full cover was definitely a pick. And I was so excited when I found this vintage bartending recipe book. You guys know I was specifically looking for one. It was only $2 and will go on the elusive bar cart. Of course, my first stitchery kit made the list. This is the first thing that I've ever done like this that I was actually successful at, so it was very exciting. And the one I'm working on right now also made the list. Love the colors. Another item was this $100 antique dresser that I found at the thrift store. I ended up using it as an end table in my living room. I didn't realize how much I was going to use and love this tray. I use it every day when I put my remotes on it on my bed. I wasn't looking for a jewelry box this year, but this one found me and I couldn't pass it up. Look at the beautiful colors. It was only $2.50 and I couldn't love it anymore. Just absolutely gorgeous coloring for mid-century. You know I'm a clock girly. I've never met a vintage clock I didn't like. And I didn't have one that plugged in like this. I am so glad I got it. It does have a smudge on the front, but the way I display it, you can't even see. And although I'm taking up stitchery, I really appreciate these types of things that have already been completed. I love that these were already framed and they look great in my family room. I'm also a container girl, and this excites me so much because if you remember, it fit perfectly in that antique dresser, like a glove. This huge piece of art for 50 cents was also one of my favorites. It's gorgeous, and from the 1950s as well. These $8 TV trays are something we use all the time, including just using them at Christmas this year. Later on in the year, I also found a cart for them. Hashtag honorable mention. And of course, my trinket shelf made the list, or typesetting drawer, printer's tray, whatever you call it. My trinket shelf is one of my favorite things. I ended up getting 2 more later on in the year too. My antique phone for decor is also a family favorite. And my Danish sewing box I use for a game center is also a family favorite. It allows us to grab and go pens, papers, dice, timers, so on. And speaking of games, this 1960s Game of Life, which was almost completely unused, is definitely one of my favorites as well. If you see my trinket shelf, you'll see these foil art prints. I got 2 of them for $1.50 each. I also love the green frames. Such a great pop of color. I have a lot of book holders, but this one might be my favorite. This intricate wood one is just absolutely gorgeous. It also slides out and in so you can extend how many books you have in place, and it folds as well. I've been looking for decanters and I felt like I just absolutely won the lottery with this one. It's a music box with a stick at the bottom, so when you pick it up, it sings. And it's absolutely gorgeous and brass. Oh, and a handle. It was a top-notch decanter find. I couldn't wait to show that one to my husband. And I don't believe this globe is vintage, but the colors just have a hold on me. I absolutely love the colors. You guys know I love gold and olive green, and so that's why I was so excited to find finally a mug tree that was vintage and olive green. And speaking of trees, I found this little framed tree. I liked it a lot, but when I finally put stamps in it, it's when I finally fell in love with this piece. Thrifting can feel like treasure hunting, and when I found this hidden container of Elvis 8-tracks, I really felt like I had found hidden treasure. There were so many, and I was able to gift them to my sister. You guys may remember how excited I was to find this copper vintage timer. I have the exact same silver Miro one, and so to find a copper mate was perfection. This shelf probably does look kind of mundane, but it ended up working perfectly in my desk area in my kitchen. Anytime I show you my desk, it's off to the left. And I'd be remiss if I did not include this gorgeous ring that I got at a garage sale. It fit me perfectly, and I get so many compliments on it all the time. At the flea market, my favorite find was my amber hen. I did end up getting a bigger one for $15, which I thought was a good deal. And last but not least, all of my vintage postcards. Thanks for a wonderful year. I can't wait to see what this year brings.